Another big event that candidates are addressing out on the trail is the Planned Parenthood shooting last week. It all digs up at least two different and pretty important issues that candidates have been talking about already: legal access to abortions and gun control. This week, we take a look at what it's like for Planned Parenthood employees to keep going to work knowing the risk they're taking.
Most people who work for Planned Parenthood are very mission-driven. We feel that our work is really, really important. We want to help people and educate them and empower them, and we are more committed than ever to continuing our mission and being there for the people who depend upon us.
But over the past few months, that mission has been harder than before. It started most recently over the summer when an anti-abortion group released heavily edited videos that said they were of meetings with Planned Parenthood employees talking about the best ways to perform abortions so different parts of the baby's bodies could be used in other ways. The Republican presidential candidates were already pro-life and against the work that Planned Parenthood does. The videos only reaffirmed those positions.
This is ridiculous. I mean, Planned Parenthood's actions were barbaric. We see this video where they're taking our taxpayer dollars, taking babies, ripping apart their bodies, selling their organs across the country.
That callous attitude and sort of not even acknowledging what she's talking about as a baby that she's harvesting parts from and selling, I think it's horrific.
We cancel their contract in Louisiana. We're working to make sure they don't get any taxpayer funding in Louisiana. We've cut them out of Medicaid.
About a month later, a federal court prevented Jindal from withholding Medicaid funding, but the message was clear. Because so many people disagree with the Supreme Court decision allowing legal access to abortions, employees at Planned Parenthood say they've seen plenty of demonstrators and received plenty of angry phone calls and hate mail. But then there was the shooting at a Planned Parenthood facility in Colorado Springs, killing 3 people and hurting a handful of others.
Well, there were a range of emotions shared by our staff, ranging from sadness, grief, anger, shock, numbness. But we've seen an outpouring of support from people who do value our work and our mission, and so that's been really neat.
The reaction from the GOP that was so critical of Planned Parenthood was measured and focused much more on the action of the man that candidates called deranged than the subject of his rampage.
This was a despicable homicide. This was an individual who's deranged. And I will say it's unfortunate to see so many folks in the press bending over backwards to try to use this horrible crime to advance a political agenda.
Bush agreed, even after all that time spent by candidates talking about defunding Planned Parenthood and calling them barbaric.
No, I don't blame the candidates. I think people have been within the realm of decency on this. Look, Planned Parenthood was caught selling body parts of aborted babies. It's a pretty, if you're talking about inciting activity, that's a pretty horrible thing.
But Dr. Meadows says people who protest Planned Parenthood have a difficult time putting themselves in someone else's shoes, and that it's knowing that she's needed that gets her to work even after seeing the horrors in Colorado Springs unfold, because she says her job is even more important in the face of danger.
I personally find being an abortion provider to be very meaningful. Because not everybody's willing to do that, to subject themselves to potential threats or even risk to their lives and personal well-being. So it definitely makes me proud to be an abortion provider.
That was a tough interview for Dr. Meadows to do, and Planned Parenthood was very careful about speaking at all, and they were adamant about not making any comments about politics or politicians. What they definitely are doing, though, is continuing their work.